What's going on, everyone? Gig Accountant here. My name is Naz. I'm a licensed CPA in the state of New Jersey. I'm also a gig economy worker working on food delivery platforms such as Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates. Referral links are down below in the description box. Feel free to use my code when you are signing up if you are interested. So yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Amazon and acquiring Grubhub. And I wanted to share my thoughts regarding that. So yeah, Grubhub currently is a very profitable business. It is a very successful public company, and their food delivery business is doing very well, minus some setbacks regarding certain restaurants suing them for perceived overcharges. But overall, Grubhub is financially sound and doing very well. Folks have brought up the question of whether Amazon may be interested in buying out, acquiring Grubhub. So Grubhub recently has decided to terminate their own proprietary food delivery business, Amazon Restaurants. And I guess the reason for that, and okay, so let me get to that in a moment. So some folks are suspect of why would Amazon acquire a food delivery business if they are already getting out of the food delivery business. Okay, here's my response to that. Yes, Amazon is eliminating their Amazon delivery business, Amazon food restaurant business, but they just recently acquired a major international food delivery company called Deliveroo, which is based out of the UK. So yes, they're getting out of their own individual independent venture. And instead of doing that, they are making strategic acquisitions of other companies who are already established in the space. So, and this is a very common practice for businesses. They will first attempt their own individual venture, and if that's depending how that goes, they may decide to pull back and instead make strategic acquisitions of competitors and integrate that into their business under their company's umbrella. And it may still, it may still operate as its own separate entity within the larger company. So an example of this would be Bank of America, which acquired Merrill Lynch. But prior to the acquisition of Merrill Lynch, they already had their own businesses where they were offering wealth management services and the like. But once they acquired Merrill Lynch, all that was began the process of transferring over to the Merrill Lynch platform, the Merrill Lynch umbrella. So what I can see, well, Amazon, they certainly do have the capital to acquire Grubhub. They are a real huge juggernaut of a business. Their brand, the Amazon brand, has just surpassed Microsoft. I believe it was Microsoft, Apple, and Google as the most valuable brand. So they really do have the capital, and they are able to acquire Grubhub if they felt the need, either through diplomatic means or through an aggressive takeover. So now that does bring up the question whether or not they will actually do that, and that's kind of up in the air. I'm not going to comment as to whether or not they would, but I can definitely see why they would be interested. It depends on whether or not Grubhub, the Grubhub investors and board of directors are interested themselves. So, but they do have the means to acquire it. I can see why they would want to do it. It seems to me that they are attempting to more aggressively get into the space. And through these strategic acquisitions, such as Driverloo and maybe Grubhub, they would be able to acquire that specialized technical skills, the knowledge, the know-how, the already entrenched space into the market, and robustly move into that market. Now, the question is whether this would be a good move for drivers, delivery drivers, gig economy workers. And my thoughts regarding that is that we have an equivalent, which is Amazon Flex. And from what I hear and what I gather from what I read around the interwebs, is that overall Amazon Flex drivers are paid fairly well. So the one wrinkle that I've heard is that Amazon is prone to terminating gig economy workers, their flex drivers, without notice and without warning. and without giving any warning or giving any notice why they were terminated. And this makes some sense to me because for a company that has an independent contractor-employer relationship, they really are not supposed to engage in that sort of dialogue, communication, an employer-employee relationship where they are directing the work and the performance of that work of the independent contractor. And so to really ensure that they're not running afoul of that line in the sand between independent contractor and employee, they decide just not to say anything and just terminate, which is how an independent contractor and employer company contracting out relationship is supposed to work. You contract out the work, you have no oversight or direction over how the work is done, and you receive the completed work, and then you can either continue to contract out the work to that contractor or just discontinue your relationship. So that makes sense to me. And now what I can really see, with that said, what I can really see Amazon doing with the food delivery business is really like integrating and embedding that with the Amazon Prime service, or making another tier where, guaranteed free services over for if you pay X amount of money per month for maybe deliveries over a certain price range. And that would be a clear way in my mind for Amazon to proceed with the food delivery business. So yeah, in summary, my response regarding this is, I can definitely see why Amazon would want to acquire Grubhub. I definitely do think that Amazon is seeking to more robustly enter the food delivery business, which is really exemplified by their acquisition of Driverloo in the UK, based out of the UK. And also the reason being that the food delivery business is very profitable, or at least more profitable compared to other gig economy work like rideshare, which for Uber and Lyft has been operating at a loss since inception at this point, and may continue to do so in perpetuity, unless they really raise the fares. So yeah, that's all that I got to say about that. As I mentioned, I'm a gig economy worker. As I mentioned before, I am a licensed CPA. I offer accounting services, tax preparation, tax planning, and consulting work. If you are interested in any of those, feel free to engage me. My rates are at my own discretion, subject to change, but right now I am charging $100 per hour. So that's all I got to say. You guys be safe out there, happy hustling, and have a good one.